And King James has called him the Fresh Prince for a reason, not just because he's in Philadelphia. Ben Simmons has led the Sixers to a 25-6 record since February 1st with 7 triple-doubles of his own. Karan, do you see the Sixers now as the team to beat in the Eastern Conference?
Well, they're definitely a young team that they don't know any better. You know what I mean? And that's scary, like going into the playoffs. This is a young team that don't understand that they don't supposed to beat you.
Well, I was going to ask if their inexperience could perhaps play in their favor in this situation.
I think it's a good thing, and they also take on the personality of their best player in Joel Embiid. He's a guy that posts things on social media, got a little nonchalant attitude about him, and I think they adapted that attitude and that personnel from him, that personality from him, and that's helped them.
It's a bit wild to consider that Ben Simmons is actually their second best player, with Joel Embiid, of course, on the bench. A triple-double in the win over the Cavs, 27 points, 15 rebounds, 13 assists.
Wow.
How has he taken his game to this next level?
I think he's doing an excellent job of rebounding the basketball and getting out into transition. And as you see, he's just aggressive. He's finding a way to, keep the pressure on the defense as much as possible every game during this stretch, even with Joel Embiid out. And that's what's been more impressive than anything for me. Like, if you're watching him right here, he's getting out in the open court. As you can see, bodies are back. And what he's going to do is knife across, throw it to Covington, who's usually, somewhere on the perimeter spotted up. And you saw him with the easy two. And then once again, catching the ball right here, outlet. Little quick pass with the right hand, the offhand, left-handed guy, finding Covington again, going down the middle. And then this is what I really love. This backing down, taking advantage of the mismatch, have a smaller guy on you. Nope, I'm going to go to the right hand, easy two, and then getting into transition again, using his body and his size and his quickness and agility, creating opportunities for others, getting into the seam of the defense. This is one of the things that I love about his game and his versatility. He's showing a lot of growth on the fly.
And he sees the floor unbelievably well, which is unique for someone with as little professional experience as he has.
That's because of his size. And he has a great feel. Like, whatever it is, he has it. And then he has the size to see over the defenders. So once you trap him, you're usually bringing a smaller guy at him. And when you bring a big guy at him, he's attacking the big, and now he get the, just take advantage of them off the dribble.
Without Joel Embiid in this lineup, others have been stepping up, not just out of necessity, but because they have been seasoned to all year long. What can be said of the Sixers supporting cast at this point?
I think, big fella always say it. Shaquille O'Neal always say that you need the others to win the championship. And if you look at this team right here, Covington, J.J. Redick, Marco Bellinelli, Ersan Ilyasova, you're talking about young fella and Markelle Fultz coming back the last couple of games. All these guys are stepping up on a major level and knocking down shots.
So could the Sixers make the finals after missing the playoffs just a season before? It's been done 4 times. Of course, that Cavalier team in 2014-15 added one LeBron James to their roster. It could happen.
It definitely can happen. You look at the favorite right now, the number 1 seed is the Toronto Raptors. But you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers, one of the things that, hinder them is the defensive thing. Now, can they turn that on? That's something that we're going to talk about later in the show. But, this thing is wide open for them. It really is. The Eastern Conference is wide open, and the Boston Celtics, they're hindered with injuries, with Kyrie and those guys being out. So it's going to be interesting going forward.
But despite the Cavs' loss, until they are beaten in April or May, can you consider any other team apart from a LeBron James-led team to be the favorite?
Hey, it's the reason why LeBron keep calling Ben Simmons the Fresh Prince.
Right, he's one notch below the king. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the Cavs have not exactly struggled to score, and LeBron James is doing it from inside and out, not just with his scoring ability, but, again, his ability to see the floor as well as he does.
Yeah, he's doing an excellent job of just, scoring, being aggressive, being more aggressive than we've seen him traditionally in the past few years. But offensively, he's just been remarkable. But defensively is where they got to hang their hat. That's the key.
And where do you see those defensive lapses happening?
I think in transition for the most part. They're having a problem getting back with faster teams. And you wouldn't think that would be the case after losing some of the older guys that they did have, now they got a lot of youth on the squad. But look at this. Ben Simmons coming down in transition, going downhill against a relatively great athlete in Jeff Green and getting a second chance opportunity. And then we talk about the Fresh Prince. Ben Simmons again, going downhill, playing with the ball. You see the defenders right there. That's a wall that's created. But, they got moving pieces. J.J. Redick, Marco Bellinelli, guys like that. That's what they're going to have to face in the playoff stretch, and the Cavs got to do a better job of, creating that wall and getting out to guys. And then you can never leave a guy like J.J. Redick. Any given time, airspace, he's going to knock down that shot. And then, once again, you see Ersan Ilyasova. I could beat him in a sprint right now today. And they're getting downhill, flushing for the two with Ben Simmons with no defenders down in the paint. That's a problem, and that's something that has to be addressed.
I spoke to a member of the Cavaliers staff who told me, well, defensively, it's just we got to get back in transition. We're getting beat one-on-one, and we're really just getting beat in half-court sets. I said, okay, so that's
everything.
All of defense. Got it. Let's move on to the Raptors, though, because despite sitting on top of the Eastern Conference and setting a franchise record with 57 wins, why are we not talking about them as the team to beat?
Because, I think so many times they play extremely well, and you see the versatility in the guys. You're talking about DeMar DeRozan adding on, to his perimeter game. Talk about the job that Coach Casey's has done this season. Kyle Lowry buying it to, facilitating and being that ultimate point guard. Serge Ibaka. But it's something like whenever you see them play against LeBron James, you just don't, whatever it is, like we touched on, you just don't see it. You just don't see the confidence. And I think confidence is so important going into that stretch, and I don't see it yet.
Do you think, though, that Dwayne Casey could be the coach of the year? Or is it perhaps Brad Stevens at this point?
I would say Coach Casey. He's done a remarkable job of getting them to buy into that system. And I think it's amazing to see how they flew under the radar all season long, and their accomplishments, having 2 All-Stars and just dominating the Eastern Conference in the regular season. It's been a special run for them, and they should be rewarded.